Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about addressing schemes, especially in IPv4 networks. In IPv4 networks, there are three things that you need to be perfectly aware of when assigning out chunks of addresses to certain networks or certain things in a network design, or when allocating these addresses. The first thing is you need to prevent duplicate addresses at all costs. You will need to make sure that you never get a duplicate address. The second thing you need to be able to do is to provide access and control as it's needed. The second thing is you need to be able to monitor and provide for security and logs. And these are three things that you need to take into consideration when allocating addresses on an IPv4 network. Now, when allocating addresses, addressing schemes are a huge deal. It's basically your battle plan of how you're going to allocate addresses out to hosts. Now, the reason why we have to do this is because of the use of DHCP. DHCP automatically assigns hosts an address. It's a great thing. It really is. It'll save you so much time. However, some hosts, such as servers or printers, need addresses that will not change. So you need to design your DHCP scopes around this so that you never duplicate an address. Now, how we're going to take a look at this is I'm going to do just kind of a quick example for you guys of how I would design a network. We're going to take the network 192.168.10.0/24. So in other words, I have 256 available addresses. One is my network address. 192.168.10.0 is my network address. And then of course 192.168.10.255 is my broadcast address. Now, everything in between can be used for hosts. So here is how I personally would design this network. I would give 192.168.10.1 to my default gateway. Then, the next chunk of addresses I would reserve would be for servers. So I would reserve the chunk 192.168.10.2 all the way up to 192.168.10.9 for servers. That leaves me with 8 addresses for servers. That's a sizable chunk for a network this size. Now, the next chunk I would allocate is for printers. Printers you don't want to have change either. So that would be 192.168.10.10 up to 192.168.10.19. So I've left room for 10 printers on the network. It's, again, a sizable amount of printers for a network this size. Now, the next thing I think I would allocate is my hosts. So I would take and put my host, or my DHCP scope, from 192.168.10.20 all the way up to 192.168.10.239. This is for hosts. My DHCP scope. Now, the last thing that I'm going to assign on this network is what we call intermediary devices, or devices such as access points or an additional router for subnetworks or whatever. There are other networking devices on the network. So 192.168.10.240 to 192.168.10.254 is reserved for intermediary devices. That is essentially what you're doing when you're creating an address scheme. You're creating a plan for how you're going to assign networks resources out. How you're going to assign the IP addresses in a certain network range or scope. It's really basic and really simple. It's not a hard concept to grasp. However, it's definitely important. You never want to fly by the seat of your pants when designing a network, otherwise you're going to end up with mass confusion and chaos. So I would recommend always creating an address scheme when creating a network. I hope you enjoyed this little quick mini micro lecture, and up next we will be subnetting IPv6 addresses. I hope you guys enjoyed this lecture, and we'll see you next time.